Happy New Year, everyone! This is going to be your year for financial progress. I'm excited to help you learn to be more frugal, budget, and improve your finances with the Frugal Fresh Start Challenge. Based on the book, Frugal Fresh Start, this will be a 28-day challenge to help you reset your money habits. For each of the next 28 weekdays, we'll be focusing on one specific principle to learn about, focus on, and most importantly, do something about. Of course, it will probably take more than 28 days to reach all your financial hopes and dreams, but you'll be surprised at how much you can do during these few short weeks. So let's get going. Today we're going to talk about 3 goal-related questions to help you set your own financial goal. By the end of today, you'll have your own awesome financial goal. I'm Stephanie from SixFiguresUnder.com, where I share frugal inspiration and financial motivation to help families get out of debt and reach their financial goals. This is my husband Mike, who will be joining us for the Frugal Fresh Start Challenge.
So we want to start out by sharing some of the goals our blog readers set when we first hosted this challenge back in 2015 over on SixFiguresUnder.com. We printed out a bunch of them on strips of paper so we can share them randomly. They were all really good, so we couldn't choose, so we're going to let the randomizer choose here. Deborah says, my goal is to go grocery shopping for the whole month, once a month, for under $360. That's for 6 people. I made my menu plan, shopping list, and gathered coupons. I'm putting into practice everything I've learned.
Okay. Mine is Samira. I need to pay off my credit cards. The idea of paying cash for almost everything is very appealing to me. Paying so much interest every month is so frustrating, I sometimes avoid even looking at the bill.
Jody, she says, we just started YNAB on January 1, and our goal is to be fully buffered and living off last month's income by May. Our next goal, she's looking ahead, will be to have our emergency fund at $15,000.
Okay, this is Crystal. My 6-month goals are to pay off 3 credit card bills and to save some money every paycheck towards moving.
All right. Julie says our goal is to pay off our only credit card, about $5,000, and put $5,000 in savings.
This is Leanna. She says pay off all consumer credit card debt and SUV loan, leaving us only a car loan and student loan plus mortgage, and keep them paid off.
Samantha says my plan is to pay off my school loan, $1,700, LASIK loan, $2,500, and have a solid emergency fund, $6,000. That's a total of $10,200 over the next 6 months. Now that it's in writing, it seems like a pretty lofty goal. I might have to adjust the emergency fund. That's why I'm here for the next month, to figure out this kind of stuff. Alright, so there's lots of goals here. Some of them are paying off debt. There are others in here about earning enough to be able to stay home, to stay with the kids.
Grocery budget.
Grocery budget's down to a certain amount.
Earning, there were some about...
Yeah, some about earning a certain amount.
We didn't read them all, obviously.
But really, this is a goal to kind of turn around your finances, to get to the next step. So let's talk about you now. The first question I want you to ask yourself is, why do you want to be more frugal? Now, being frugal all by itself isn't really that much fun. Most people don't stretch themselves in this way just for the heck of it. There's some reason. What is it you want to get out of being frugal? What got you interested in reducing your expenses and being more intentional with your money? That why is where your motivation to do hard things is going to come from. There's a spot in your workbook. Stephanie has a copy of the workbook here. You can download the workbook through a link when you join the challenge down below. So this is a place for you to write down your why. Why do you want to be more frugal? And Simon Sinek is one of my favorite business / motivational authors, and he wrote a book called Start With Why, which is really a great read if you have a chance to grab it from your library. Start With Why is a book that really helps you understand how much it's important to decide the reason you're doing something, because that's the reason that will keep you going. There are people who are in real distress. We've been there, where our financial situation makes us really uncomfortable, and we don't like being in the place we're at, and we want to get out of it. And that vision of being somewhere different, of having a different sort of life, that's a why. The place you want to be versus the place you are is your why.
Okay, next we're going to turn our why into a goal. Why set a goal? That reason for resetting your money habits and becoming more frugal is the basis of a great motivating goal. You might wonder if setting a goal is really necessary. That's understandable. Setting a goal in the beginning of your financial journey can seem intimidating because you might not have a clear idea of what a good goal is. If you have no idea how much you're currently spending, you probably don't have a good idea of how much you could reduce your spending and increase your payments towards your debt, for example. But it's still important to set a goal, even if you don't have everything figured out. The number attached to your goal might not be the perfect number, but that's okay. Still set a goal. It's hard to succeed unless you know what you're trying to succeed at. Your goal is your target. It's like your destination. It's where you want to end up. If you don't know where you're going, then you'll never get there. A goal keeps you from simply wandering. A goal does three things. First, it gives you direction and helps you focus your efforts to make sure you're heading in the direction you want to go. Second, it acts as a finish line, a destination that you look to for motivation when things get hard. This was a big one for me as we worked to pay off our 6 figures of student loan debt. When we made sacrifices that were hard, I would remind myself that as soon as we reached our debt-free finish line, we could do X, Y, and Z. Third, it allows you to measure and celebrate your progress. Having a goal means you have a halfway point and a quarter of the way point and so on. Your goal can be divided into smaller, measurable goals that you can celebrate along the way.
So what makes a good goal? You may have seen the acrostic for a SMART goal, that's S-M-A-R-T. There are a few variations, but they're all pretty similar. There's S is specific, M measurable, A achievable, R relevant, and T time bound. So this SMART framework applies really well to financial goals. While all the points are applicable, I think specific, measurable, and time bound are the most important factors for the goal you're going to set today. What? You're setting a goal today? Yes, you are. That's how we get started on our fresh start. There's a place in your workbook to write down a goal that will help you get to your why. So let's make your goal a SMART goal, which in this case is a great goal. Let's say your why is that you get all dreamy-eyed about the prospect of never having a balance on your credit card again. The monthly drama of trying to come up with the cash to pay the balance, realizing you don't have enough on hand, and seeing the interest you're paying on the carried amount leaves you tense, unhappy, and feeling like a financial failure every month. You're done with all that. Your why for a frugal fresh start is to not have that credit card balance. So what should your goal be? What about a goal, pay off all my credit cards? That's a direct response to your why. If you pay off all your credit cards, you won't have that feeling anymore, assuming you continue to keep them paid off. You will have achieved a measure of financial peace each month as you watch your credit card statement zero out. No interest, no bondage, freedom. But what exactly does it mean to pay off all your credit cards? That's an accurate goal, but not a super specific one. So let's look at how much you owe. You have 3 cards with a total balance as of today of $18,394. Okay, take a deep breath. That's not really great, but that happened. That's where you are. The best you can do is start from where you are. The other option would be not starting at all, and that's no way to get to your why. So your more specific goal is pay off $18,394 of credit card principal plus the interest that will accrue during the payoff period to reach a zero balance. And I might add, and don't run up any more charges during the payoff period. So there, those specifics really put the goal right in front of you. It's not a lot of fun to look at $18,000 of credit card debt, but looking at it allows you to do something about it. So look it straight in the eye and make it your specific goal. Now, measurable. Can you measure whether you've paid off $18,394 in credit card principal plus interest and reached zero balance? Yes! That's easy to see whether you've made it. You just look at your credit card statement. If it's a 0, you made it. A measurable goal usually has a number in it. We can measure numbers. Some other things are harder to measure. What if your goal was, this year I want to eat out less and cook at home more? Well, that's a good thing to do, but it's not very specific and not very measurable. And it's hard to know when you've achieved less and more. Do you count the number of times you ate out last year? Do you want to cut that number in half? Cut it to twice a month? Cut it entirely? So get that specific, and then you can also measure it. If you want to say, I want to eat out no more than once a week, that's a goal. You can measure that. And the specific measurable goal gives you some real guidance about what you're going to do and how you'll know when you've done it. Reaching a zero credit card balance, eating out twice a month, those are numbers. You know when those happen. So let's go back to the SMART framework, and we'll skip achievable and relevant for a minute and go straight to time bound. There's some good news. For this Frugal Fresh Start, you don't have to decide what your timeline is. We're all getting goals that we'll accomplish within 6 months. If you're starting this at the beginning of the year, that means June 30th. That's the final date. Now 6 months is convenient for two reasons. First, it's easy to remember when 6 months is up. Second, that's enough time to really get some work done, but not so much time you'll be completely worn out by the end. You can put up with 6 months of inconvenience and sacrifice in the name of your why. Longer than that, and you can start to feel kind of discouraging. So today let's look at our whys and set a specific, measurable goal that we can accomplish in 6 months. And just a note on achievable and relevant. I don't really love the achievable part. We should set goals that we can accomplish, but expressly invoking achievable can sometimes lead us to set goals that are mediocre. Those are lazy goals that don't stretch us into achieving great things. The more you have to stretch for your goal, the more satisfying it'll be. And the more dramatic your fresh start will be. And the better your fresh start, the better your finish. And relevant, well, if it's getting to your why, it's relevant. There's not much more to say about that.
So it's time to look carefully at your why and set a goal. Don't get caught up in the perfect number for your goal right now, especially if being actively involved in your finances is new for you. The actual number may need adjusting after you begin, but having some number is important, or you won't be able to tell when you're making progress or even if you've succeeded. The most important part is to set a goal that will motivate you and give you a reason to be more frugal. A good goal will help you realize that the sacrifices you're making and the new habits you're cultivating will be worth it. Okay, it's time to set your own goal. Write it down in your Frugal Fresh Start workbook. If you haven't downloaded it yet, there's a link below to join the challenge and get the workbook emailed to you for free. We would love to hear what your 6-month goal is, so let's all just share down in the comments. And we'll go first.
And we'll see you back tomorrow for day number 2.